Hi friends, hope you're all well and thank you for joining me. Today I want to talk about how do you quiet your mind and why do we even want to? Well, we have it's research say that we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. 60,000. And most of those is thinking about something over and over and over. I hate my job, I hate my life, I hate my partner, I don't like this, I don't like that. We had a lovely afternoon, but human nature is thinking about the negative because our emotions are much more triggered and we think about, things that we don't like. And it's difficult for people when a person keeps verbalizing, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't like this, I don't like that. And you say, well, hang on a minute, what do you want? What do you actually want? What do you want? And they go, oh, let me think about it. But the stuff that they don't want or don't like comes out easy. And so it's sort of the same with the thoughts. The thoughts tend to be worry, have some tinge of negativity or fear or hesitation or I'm going to say fear again, but fear of all sorts of levels. Nervousness about stuff that we're going to do tomorrow or the job that we have or whatever. So, why do we need to quiet the mind? Is number one, to get relief from these thoughts that are infiltrating our mind like little soldiers, and to be able to step back from the emotion that we attach to the thoughts. Because when you attach, a thought can be just something that comes in, right? We don't know where it comes from sometimes, and sometimes we do. But if we step back, we can just see it for what it is. It's just a thing that floats past us. But what we tend to do is look at that thought, interact with it, attach feeling and emotion and energy. And so this thought grows and the feeling expands. So this is what we manifest. Let me say that again. If you have this thing float past, you have a choice whether to just observe it and go, oh, it's gone now. I didn't do anything. But if you attach your thinking to it and actually engage with the thought and then put energy and emotion, energy in motion and feeling into this thought. Let me give you an example. Say my mother-in-law, I don't have one, so that's a good example. My mother-in-law did this, right? She did whatever and it really annoyed you. And you can just either go, oh, well, I'm sure she's lovely, or I'm sure she had a bad day. Or you can go, my mother-in-law did this. Oh, why did she do that? And why is she picking on me? And why am I always being a victim of this? Why am I always being her nitpicking subject? And what have I done? See the engagement and the feeling and the emotion that we put into this, rather than going, oh, well, I think she's lovely, right? So there's the difference. And if we stand back and become the observer, then we can create a distance between ourselves and our thoughts. Then they are much more easily recognized for what they are, and we can view them in the shape that they are on and what they actually just represent. And say somebody did this to you and you go, well, here's that thought. Oh, it's no good. And it's negative, number one. And I can understand that it's negative because I've stepped back and I'm not engaging with it. I'm not forwarding my energy into that thought. I'm not attaching emotion to that thought. I'm just going to let it swish past and out that glass door there. And then I'm going to think of something lovely that I did the other day, which is much more important, which will serve you much better. Or you're going to go, well, I'm going to go back to my studies or read something important. And instead of dwelling in shit that doesn't serve you at all. Sorry, that sun is so beautiful, but it is so very bright. Anyway, it is what it is. And so how do we quiet the mind to be able to at least step back from our thoughts and see them for what they are? And I've been doing this for a long time, on and off to start off with, because it's difficult when your mind is in a chaotic state, and when you have so much stuff going around your head, it's difficult. And some people, and I think I mentioned this previously, some people just can't, because either they're afraid of what they're going to think about and what emotions are going to come up, or they just don't want to deal with it. So their body goes, oh, let's not sit still. Let's just turn the TV on full blare and let's do something. Let's go to the bar. Let's just don't be alone. Just don't deal with this, right? But if you do that, it's always, and I'm going to say it again, it's always going to come back. And if you're not willing to face it now, you will, and you will have to face it later. So, and by facing this, you can bring it to the surface, cry, scream, or whatever. Sit with it and go, oh, well, it is what it is. I have to move because this is really bright. Hang on. That's a bit better. And I wasn't going to turn the video off because it is what it is. So bear with me. So this stuff is going to come back and haunt you at a later stage. So we are better off dealing with it, sitting with it, and going, well, this is where that comes from. Why am I thinking about it? Is it serving me? Am I spending the whole day thinking about it? And how does it affect my mood, my words, my actions, my everything? And is that how I want to live? Probably no. So sit with it, get rid of it, and go, I'm not going to, just get out. Sometimes you do, and I have done this so many times, and I still do it. If there is a thought that comes into my mind, and I stop myself, because sometimes it turns into a home movie, and you're in it before you even know or recognize it. And sometimes I find myself thinking about shit that, why am I thinking about this? Get out. You can tell your body, get out. Just you, in my mind, get out. You're not welcome. And so it's a click of the fingers or a slap, get out. I don't want to think about that because it's got no purpose in my life. Now, it might have had in the past, but the past doesn't exist anymore. That's over there, it's gone. All you can do is learn from the past, and hopefully that you've learned from your past so you can move on and have a better life. So why is it that we keep thinking about stuff that hurt us from the past? Do we still want to hurt in the future? Because if we keep thinking about this shit now, that's what you're going to create. The more you're thinking about your ex, how they hurt you, blah, 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 how your mother-in-law did this, how your work did this to you, then when you're thinking about this stuff, your body, your energy, your emotion, every cell in your body is reliving that hurt, that trauma. Get rid of it. Get rid of it and start again. And think about stuff that is going to excel you forward into your desired life, and not over and over and over and over again in your past trauma or your past hurt. So, quietening the mind, how I do it, and it's been very effective. And I'm going to go back to where it was difficult, because that's, I'm not sure who you are, who I'm talking to, but I'm sure that there's a range of people that listen to this and go, well, I can't sit with myself. I just can't. I'm going to turn the TV on or the stereo on and blow my mind out because I don't want to think I don't want to quiet it. And so when I first started, I used to always sit on the floor. I don't sit in a chair at all because, and I used to, and I actually did this because it put me in the frame of mind. So I used to put some sort of yogic clothes on because my mind was so stressed. And I would put my yogic clothes on with a blanket over me on my cushion on the floor to portray that I was meditating like the monks do. And I've always said this: if you want to be something, you have to see yourself, dress yourself, think like that, like what you're trying to become. Otherwise, it's more difficult when you first start. I used to teach and train high-level dressage horses for a very, very long time. And I also used to do show jumping. And my students would come to their show jumping lessons in their dressage gear. And I go and change. Go and change your saddle, number one. And don't put the double bridle in today because we're show jumping. Go and put your jumping saddle on and go and put your show jumping attire on. Because when you put on certain clothes, like the dressage gear, your mind automatically thinks dressage. This is an easy example because I've been and done that so many years. And so it might give you, dressage is, they're both Olympic disciplines. And dressage is doing movement inside a 20 by 60 arena. And show jumping is obviously jumping over obstacles. And so completely different. Some elements you still have to train the horses in flat work and the show jumpers in flat work. But anyway, beside the point. So I would tell them to go and get changed. And they go, why? And I said, well, as soon as you put your dressage gear on, your body and your mind is going to think dressage. So go and change. And put your show jumping gear on. Put the saddle on, put a different bridle on, put a different bit in, and put your different saddle on. And so they come back. And the difference between keeping their dressage gear on, they might have rocked up at my place, where I trained. And so they wouldn't be able to go home. And the difference that it is when you change your attire, your situation, your everything, in the beginning at least, makes it so much easier, because you are portraying what you want to become. So anyway, in my monk gear, on my cushion and on the floor, and to quiet the mind is that I pretended that I saw myself sitting on the floor, front on. It was like I was sitting opposite. And that's difficult in itself. But it was hazy to start off with. But I could still see myself like in a mirror, but I was on the other side. And therefore I distanced myself from myself. And I was able to, because I couldn't shut my thoughts off. I just couldn't. And I just sat there and I thought, oh, this is just crazy. This is so incredibly difficult. And I wanted to scream. And so I did. I screamed. And I said, just stop. Why is it that I can't stop thinking about all this shit? And I figured out that if I took a step back, just move away from the thoughts, I could see what they were. And then I started to think, where does that even come from? Why am I thinking? Why am I thinking about this? Because that happened last week. And it really hurt me. So why is this playing out again and again? And so once I recognized that that was happening, I could say, well, I don't want to think about that anymore. It's gone. But it keeps introducing itself back into my mind and my life, and I find myself obviously thinking about this a lot. And so what am I then manifesting? This is current in my life as well. So even though it was in the past, I recognized that by thinking about it, and this was years ago, I recognized that I was still living it or reliving it. And my body still felt the stress and the trauma that I felt then. So I managed to distance myself, and I think I cocooned myself from interacting with the thoughts. I hid from the thoughts for a while sitting there. So I wasn't able to interact with them. And that gave me a bigger distance. And just be mindful and understand that the more trauma and stress that you have experienced from whatever, it takes time. Allow the body the time. People say, be kind to yourself. That means nothing to me. It's be kind. Yes, but if you say it another way, which means the same, allow yourself the time it takes for the body to readjust, expel, and get rid of the nasty shit that's happened to you. And it might just be a breakup. It might be a loss of an animal that you loved, or a loss of a fingernail, right? It doesn't matter what it is, right? But if you're stewing over a fingernail for more than 1 minute, then you've got to question what's wrong with me, right? Just, it's too superficial. Go deeper. And allow yourself to understand yourself, which is the video previous to this, which I might link somewhere. I never know which way they're going to come, so that way. Once you've done that, allow yourself to observe the thoughts, write them down, because now you have time. The body and the mind allows you to observe what comes through and floats through your mind. Have a notebook, because you can now. Right? This is exciting and a bloody big deal. And so people go, oh, I don't do journaling. Well, sometimes I don't do journaling much either. But sometimes it's very beneficial. I don't have a diary. I have 10 notebooks in A4 format. And I tend to use them for all sorts of things. But grab a new one, and put a date on it, and go negative, positive. You leave a space. And then I thought about my mother-in-law. I thought about this, I thought about that. Oh, and I thought about my fantastic cup of coffee that I had the other day. That's positive, right? And you get the drift. Once you start doing that, it becomes easier. You can go back over your notes and go, wow, when I first started, there was like a whole list, a whole 5 pages worth of negative stuff. And 3 months later, it takes time. Allow yourself time. There's only 1 page and more of the positive. And the more positive you tend to have, the more quiet your mind is. And so it becomes easier. Now, once you've done that, and this is really effective, I sit and I focus, I close my eyes and I focus on my third eye right here. And so my eyes are angled upwards. And holding that gaze is difficult, but that's okay. If you lose it, go back. That's all it is. It's, you're trying to go to an aerobics class and it's like, I don't even know which way I'm going. You get used to it. And what I do is that once I hit that point, I expand that energy, and I feel that energy in my temples. I expand. My tongue is up in the roof of my mouth, behind my front teeth. because that's where it should be, and sit relaxed. Once I do that, I expand my energy so I feel pressure in both of my temples. And how did I get to that point? I envisage I'm visualizing that I'm sitting on a mezzanine floor in a massive big warehouse with perspex see-through panels, right? It's empty. You can't, and also you can't see the floor. You can see halfway down the wall structure. But all you can see is this big, massive, expansive space of an empty top part of a warehouse where the light streams in. That's all. Nothing else. There's nobody there. No scary stuff. No machinery. No nothing. No work. It's what it is. It's just a big, massive warehouse full of light. And if you keep that vision, the mind goes quiet. And if you hold the focus here and feel the pressure here, it eventually comes up here. Don't press too hard, but just expand it a little bit until you feel that pressure here. And then remain. Keep it. And see your warehouse. That's it. And I'll tell you what, it has nearly instantly made a difference. And I'm sure that it will also for you. I'm going to leave it there. Try it and let me know how you go, because I'm really interested to see if you have the same effect. Give it a week and let me know. But stay with it. And if you can't get it the first day or the first time, then stick with it, because you'll be so much better off. You have clarity. You can focus on your task without all this stuff coming into your mind, occupying your brain cells. And yeah, it's quite amazing. But keep your warehouse in your mind. And yeah, let me know. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And it'd be interesting to see if that works for you. I'll be very grateful for a comment. Have a lovely day. And the rain has stopped here and the sun is out. So I'm going to go to work. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.